This is the War Brief Daily for May 11th, 2026. Russia-Ukraine theater. A three-day ceasefire brokered by the United States is nominally still active. Operationally, it is not functioning. Tonight, we are tracking 4 confirmed developments. First, the ceasefire is collapsing in real time, and this is the third attempt in recent weeks to fail. Second, Russia launched 27 drones overnight despite the active pause, and Ukraine downed every single one. But casualties still happened across 4 regions. Third, Ukraine's general staff documented 147 frontline engagements in a single morning report. And fourth, the promised 1,000-for-1,000 prisoner exchange has not taken place. Here is what we know. First, the ceasefire. On May 8th, President Trump announced that Russia and Ukraine had agreed to a 3-day pause running through May 11th, timed to Russia's Victory Day celebrations. Both sides accepted. Both sides immediately accused the other of breaking it. Ukraine's general staff confirmed 51 combat engagements on May 9th alone. Russia's Ministry of Defense claimed Ukraine committed 8,970 violations in that same single day, a figure that works out to 1 alleged violation every 10 seconds. That number reflects political framing, not a credible military count. The Institute for the Study of War assessed that Russia used the ceasefire window not to disengage, but to reinforce frontline positions. That assessment is credible and consistent with observable behavior. Worth noting, according to Atlantic Council battlefield analysis, Russia actually lost ground in April 2026, the first territorial retreat Moscow has made since the summer of 2024. That context explains the urgency of reinforcement. This ceasefire is confirmed as non-functional. Second, the drone strikes. Despite the active pause, Russia launched 27 long-range drones overnight into May 10. Ukraine's Air Force confirmed all 27 were intercepted, a 100% intercept rate, which is notably higher than Russia's typical success ratio. The lower than usual salvo count may reflect operational restraint tied to Victory Day or asset reallocation. Regardless, drone debris and pre-intercept impacts still caused casualties. These figures come directly from regional governors. In Zaporizhzhia, 1 person was killed and 3 wounded. In Kharkiv, 8 people were wounded, including 2 children. In Kherson, 7 wounded, including 1 child. In Dnipropetrovsk, 1 child wounded and infrastructure damaged. Reuters noted it could not independently verify all battlefield reports, but these casualty figures are officially sourced. For context, Ukraine's forces separately downed more than 50 Russian drones in the 15 hours before Putin's Victory Day parade in Moscow, showing Ukraine maintained pressure on Russian domestic targets during the symbolic holiday. Third, the front line. Ukraine's General Staff morning report for May 10 logged 147 combat engagements over the prior 24 hours. Active fighting is confirmed on 3 key axes. Sumy Oblast in the north, where Russian offensive pressure continues. The Kupiansk direction near Kharkiv, where Russia attempted river crossings, and the Oleksandrivka direction in Donetsk, where both sides traded ground. ISW separately flagged that Ukrainian forces are now actively reconnoitering and striking Russian supply routes near occupied Mariupol, roughly 105 kilometers behind the current front line. That is ISW's assessment, not yet independently confirmed, but the operational implication is clear. Ukraine is demonstrating an expanding ability to hit moving targets deep in Russian-held territory. That is a meaningful evolution. Fourth, the prisoner exchange. The ceasefire agreement included a commitment to exchange 1,000 prisoners of war on each side. As of May 10th, that exchange has not happened. No updated timeline has been confirmed. On the diplomatic track, Putin publicly stated the conflict is, quote, coming to an end, while his own spokesman, Dmitry Peskov, said peace remains, quote, a very long way off. Both statements are confirmed. The contradiction appears deliberate. Germany separately and flatly rejected Putin's suggestion that former Chancellor Gerhard Schroeder could serve as a mediator for EU peace talks. Here is what to watch next. The ceasefire window nominally closes May 11th. Monitor whether Russia escalates strike operations once it lapses, or whether the framing gets extended as a diplomatic tool. Track the prisoner exchange. If it happens in the next 24 to 48 hours, it signals some minimum level of functional agreement. Watch the Kharkiv axis closely. ISW assessed Russia reinforced there during the pause. Follow Ukraine's interdiction campaign near Mariupol. If that activity escalates, it is a strategic signal worth tracking. And watch Trump administration messaging on the peace framework. The diplomatic push is continuing, but the battlefield picture says both sides are still fighting through it. That's your War Brief Daily for May 11th, 2026.